I'm going to show you the basics of what you need to begin a yoga practice at home. I'm going to help you save some money and focus on what you really need, from the must-have to the nice-to-have. Welcome, my name is Katja Cahoon. I'm a yoga teacher and psychotherapist. And this class is about what you need to build a yoga practice at home. I'm going to take you through the basics and then a few extras that you can get depending on budget. So I'm also want to help you save some money because you actually don't need a ton to start your yoga practice at home. So join me and I'll show you a couple of poses to do with those different props and things that you need as well. So your most basic obviously is your yoga mat. You can do yoga without a yoga mat, no problem. I think, however, it's good to have a yoga mat. First of all, for slip reasons, and you get good grip on here. It also provides a little bit of a cushion. And you know what? It's sort of that symbolic action of rolling out your yoga mat that starts your yoga session. And I think that's actually something really, really nice to have and to do. So the yoga mat is actually the only item I splurged on. I bought this extra thick yoga mat. It's extra long and extra thick. I have sensitive knees and I have a very pronounced S-curve in my spine, so my sacrum tends to get bruised up. So I bought this really cushioned one. So this one isn't cheap. That's an investment I made. You can go a lot cheaper and just get a thinner mat. It's really not a problem. It depends on your body and what your priorities are. No problem at all. So that's the must-have. And again, just determine what do you need. If you have sensitive knees or sacrum, it's always possible to roll your mat up or to use a little towel. You can do that too. Now the second item, or the second two items that I would get, is a strap and two blocks. If you have those three things, mat, strap, and blocks, you really can do almost any yoga practice, and I'll show a few examples. So let's start with the strap. The strap, again, I don't know what brand this is. It's nothing fancy. I probably ordered it off Amazon, but a strap is a fantastic tool for any level of practice. It helps you get deeper. It helps you build flexibility, strength. You can do so many things with the strap. So you can, for example, just start with basic shoulder flexibility. This is a great exercise, flossing your shoulders. And you can't do that without a strap. Now, you could do it with a belt if you don't want to invest in the strap, right? And you can do side stretches, things like that. So let's say you want to work on opening your shoulders and arms. And you know this pose where one arm reaches overhead and the other reaches behind. If you don't have that flexibility yet, you grab your strap and then you grab it behind you, and now you can work on your flexibility without straining, without having to, do any awkward contortions, and you can really build your flexibility that way. Pretty awesome. Another thing for this strap is it's awesome for hamstring stretches. So for example, seated forward fold. Let's say you're not yet very flexible, so let's say you can't reach your feet yet, and you don't want to do this, you don't want to round too much because you want the stretch to be in your hamstrings, not your lower back. So grab this and move it around, and now you can pull in the strap. Your back is nice and straight, and look at that, even working a little on your arms, and you're really feeling the stretch in your hamstrings, which is awesome. You can do this for a wide-legged forward fold or stretch. So here you can stretch like this, but when we go into the side stretch and you really want to open up your side body and you want to do this reaching over, but you can't get there, fantastic. You can grab it here, and now you can really focus on that straight, nice line, and then you just move your arm down as you get more flexible. Lots of awesome options lying down with the strap. So for example, you can, again, going into the hamstrings, right? Let's say you can't reach your foot like that. Right, you just use your strap, you bring it behind, and then you just let your foot fall down, your leg fall down, and you can hang out here. Or you can stabilize it a little bit with your hand. Super awesome. And a really nice way to open up. And then of course a strap opens up all sorts of advanced poses, like for example, dancer pose, dancer pose is the pose where you reach behind and then you move forward, right? This is a pretty challenging pose. And so what you can do here is you loop the strap around, and I'm using even a little bit of support, that's okay too. And then you grab it, and now you can see you're already opening up your shoulders, your arms, and now you can kind of modulate. How far do I want to go, right? I can go this way, I can reach up a little bit, I can move my arms, I can move my legs. So you can see strap has endless variations, and they're all really cool. So definitely get a strap. Same for blocks. So blocks are awesome for beginners. They're awesome for people with an advanced yoga practice because they really help you get good posture and also move deeper into any poses. So what do we use blocks for? Let's say we're doing a simple flow, and again, hamstrings, right? That's such a big area to stretch. So let's say you do a flow with blocks. Yeah, so you come from mountain pose, you fold forward, and now in the forward fold here, you can see how my back stays nice and straight. And depending on flexibility, I can bring the blocks down and then eventually all the way down to the mat. And now let's step back. Let's say I step back into a runner's lunge. So now with the blocks, you can see my back is nice and straight. I can really go into the hip flexor opening instead of kind of hunching over. Let's say we move into pyramid pose. Look at this. Now I can straighten my leg without pain, without difficulty. And let's see, you're not that flexible yet. You have your blocks higher. And you move lower and lower and lower. And so endless variations. I won't show you all of them. I actually have a whole class on using blocks and straps, but I'll show you one more option, lizard, right? So here, if your elbows, your arms don't reach to the floor yet, all right, you use your blocks until you're ready to move to the floor. You can use blocks in pigeon pose. I won't go through all of them, but wonderful variations. And my very favorite, so you can use blocks for a wonderful heart opening pose, supported fish, where you put one block sort of where your sports bra is, or your shoulder blades end, and then the other block under your head, and you can see how this is an amazing chest opener. Feels really good, heart opener. You can move your arms around wherever possible, or whatever feels good. Super. So what kind of block? Again, I wouldn't spend a ton of money on it. My preference are these foam ones instead of the cork ones. I find the cork ones a little bit hard in terms of the edges, so I would get something that has slightly softer edges, because when you're doing something like supported fish, it doesn't cut into your body so much, and you can really sort of melt onto it. So that's my preference. I prefer these softer foam ones, and again, I probably got them on Amazon. They're already a little bit beat up. So what are some additional props that you can get? Well, my vote after the ones I just showed you would be a yoga bolster. This is especially good for restorative poses. Again, so chest opening, pigeon pose, any of those poses, it's really great for. And so let me show you pigeon. When you're working on flexibility in your hip, so you can do pigeon on a bolster, for example. Move my foot here. So now you're really high up, you're resting here, and you can really focus on opening hip flexor and so on without moving to one side. And then you can lean forward, down, And you can hang out here for a long time. You can even grab behind you and you still have that really nice support where your hip is even. Beautiful. You can do supported fish with a bolster, also great. You can do a supported seal pose where you lie on the bolster. So now you're opening up. So you can see so many options with a bolster. Again, I'm not tied to any particular brand. It doesn't have to be expensive. It's nice if they're washable because they get dirty. Mine are always covered with dog hair, so something that is washable is good. Blankets are good too. I personally don't have a yoga blanket because I have this very thick mat, but I do have a blanket to cover myself. And sometimes you can roll up a blanket, put it under your knees. That's an option as well. Now, what you don't need to spend money on, in my opinion, is special yoga mat cleaner. You can just use 1 part vinegar, 4 parts water, put a little essential oil in, works just as well. Save your money, don't buy anything special there. Just use a little container and create your own cleaner that way. You can also rinse your yoga mat up, rinse it and then hang it out to dry. There's also the yoga wheel. I don't actually own one. I'm intrigued by it. It's not, I would say, something for a beginner. It's interesting. I'm investigating. I haven't really used it much other than in training, so that's an option. And I think that's it. You know, those are your main props, and with those props you should be in great shape to do any kind of yoga you want to do, from more energetic hatha yoga to restorative to yin yoga, and really anything else you want. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks so much for watching, and please make sure to watch my video about how to use a yoga strap for flexibility and yoga blocks for beginners.